Torrance and I'm the Managing Director of the Whisky Shop. This project came about through a discussion. We were actually looking at another store in the Midlands, and myself and our owner of our business were discussing how the Scotch whisky industry is developing throughout the world in India, China, the Middle East at a premium level. We make Scotch whisky here in the UK, and we firmly believe that the UK should lead the way in terms of premium Scotch whisky retailing, and that's fundamentally how the idea came about. And here we are 8 months later opening this store in Piccadilly. True Partnership, having been on the brand side of the business for 14 years and been on many projects, whether it be in Heathrow or Frankfurt Airport, a lot of retailers talked about True Partnership and to a certain extent delivered that, but what we wanted to do from site selection to brand displays that you see in this shop to actually the consumer experience was involve one or two key partners in that process. So that meant sitting down with people like GP Studio, with Leckenby Associates and with our brand partners and having real tough discussions. One of the things we said through all this project is this project was going to be hard. And if it wasn't going to be hard, then we weren't really challenging ourselves to do anything different. Consumer experience was crucial in this project. We firmly believe that the relationship between the customer and the member of staff is probably the most important in any of the relationships within this project. And this backdrop helps that member of staff create the experience for the consumer. So you're coming into the front of the store and it's all about comfort brands that make people feel comfortable about being in the shop. A lot of people are scared to be in a Scotch whisky environment. Then you're coming into the middle of the store. So you have brands here like Chivas Regal, you have the iPads, you have the earphones. This is all about sampling whisky and hearing the stories that make about Scotch whisky special. And then you're coming into the back of the store and this is all about selling the product. We've got 250 different single malt whiskies ranging from £38 up to £100,000, and this is all about ultimately selling to the customer. This store does and it doesn't differ from our other stores. Slightly confusing answer. The reason I say that is the fundamentals of our business is about demystifying Scotch whisky. That is no different here in Piccadilly to Inverness to Oban and to Manchester. These are a big thing within our business about creating and telling people the stories of Scotch whisky. How it differs is because of the location. Clearly we're next to the Ritz, we're near Bond Street, and we've got to be in keeping with our retail partners here. But also, it's the same retail experience that we're trying to create for our customer. The reason we selected Chivas Brothers and Wyatt Mackay specifically to work on this project is from very early on in the project, they fundamentally understood the reasons why we're trying to do this. This is about challenging what we currently do, ripping up the rule book and creating a great environment for whisky, and these two brand partners really understood what we were trying to do. Added to that, Chivas Brothers have the depth of portfolio in aged stocks that allows us to develop not only premium brands but also Scotch whisky brands within the store. Ready for the next one? Definitely. It was a big project, it was very hard to put together, but if it wasn't hard, somebody would have done it before us. So we've got a lot of learning from this store and we're definitely ready for the next one.
My name's Georgina Townend. I'm a Customer Account Manager for Pernod Ricard UK. The initial discussions for this project took place over a year ago now and were very nebulous and exciting. It was a great opportunity to develop our luxury whiskies in a very premium retail environment. So the main objectives from a Pernod Ricard UK perspective were very much aligned to the Whisky Shop to create a luxury retail environment and really engage the consumer deeper than many other opportunities before. So it's very much a kind of twofold project, a commercial opportunity and then also to really engage customers and get them to feel confident in the whisky environment. With the iPads in the bar, we have an opportunity to kind of display video content, tasting notes, so consumers can really kind of at their own leisure interact with technology and taste at the same time, which is something you don't really get an opportunity to have anywhere else. The true partnership for Pernod Ricard UK and the Whisky Shop really comes about with developing the activity calendar we have for the future. So it's not just about delivering a beautiful luxury retail environment, but more about engaging the customer with different in-store activations, with tastings, masterclasses. And with all the media in store, it's a great environment for people to dwell and learn more about whisky. What I think of the retail displays is easy to see. It's a very luxury environment. The idea from the outset was very much to create a beautiful store that paralleled anything in any other category in luxury retail, and the designers and project team have more than delivered that. It's very much a game changer for the consumer because a whisky environment typically has been a very intimidating environment with many different bottles sort of on the shelf and no clear indication of where to go and how to pronounce a lot of these names. We have deliberately put big, confident, familiar brands at the front of the store so that people feel a lot more at ease when they walk in and can gain confidence as they walk through the store and interact with the different media. We're ready for the next one, absolutely. From the outset, it was certainly something we saw as having international potential. So it'd be great to see this store pop up somewhere else in the world. But who knows? It's just up to the whisky shoppers where they go next.
Hello, my name is Gregor Jackson, and I'm one of the partners at GP Studio Design Consultants. It was both challenging and also very exciting. The client wanted us to rip up the rule book and actually create an environment that was not a bottle shop. They were very clear on that from day one. This was not about simple shelving with bottles floor to ceiling. It was not about sawdust and tartan rugs in the window. It was actually taking whisky and amplifying it to very much a luxury status. With this project there was lots of exciting distillery research involved, then generating mood boards and imagery, and actually working with the client and the client's team on actually how the mood and perception of the brand should be. We made lots of comparisons, and we started exploring the idea that the store should feel something like a cross between, say, a Joe Malone store and Apple store. So very much taking whisky and sort of putting it into much more of a sort of premium luxury presentation. So something that the customer hadn't seen before in the world of whisky retailing. And it's a fantastic location, obviously, here in the centre of London, in Piccadilly, in Mayfair, opposite the Ritz. Probably rather than challenges, I think it gave opportunities. We've got a huge volume of people passing the front door on a daily basis using Green Park Tube Station, and obviously we've got the customer from the Ritz Hotel coming over as well. So actually I saw it more as gave opportunities. You know, I think it's very true about location, location, location. So we worked very closely with Pernod Ricard on this. In many ways they were a sponsor, key sponsor of the project, so it's very important to also understand their brief for this project. So yes, we had two clients in a sense, the Whisky Shop and Pernod Ricard, and therefore we spent a lot of time with Pernod Ricard and their brand managers, understanding their brands, and then our role was to amplify their brands and bring them to life three-dimensionally while sitting underneath the umbrella of the whisky store as the main brand. There's a simple range of materials that we've used that include timber, slate, tinted mirror, and really it was about creating a very confident and luxury feel, but also something quite modern. We wanted a reference to heritage, but actually wanted to present it in a much more sort of modern and current way.
My name's Craig Leckenby and work for Leckenby Associates. As always on these sort of projects we had two main responsibilities. The first being we've got to deliver on time, and the second has to be on budget as well. Our key role is to take the project from inception to completion. Some of our responsibilities are to actually gain all the approvals from local authorities. We have to go to building control, we also have to go to planning, and also display of adverts as well. So As well as that, we need to speak to the landlords to gain their approval for the actual works that need to take place within the landlord's building. The large amount of detail in the project really involved us in a lot of work at the early stages. We had a very long meeting with the manufacturer of the furniture and the main contractor as well, to make sure that everybody understood the full drawing package that the designers actually presented. And I think that meeting was actually very important. It was very early on in the project, but what it actually meant was that once we'd all got our heads around the actual detailing and how much was involved in the project, it allowed us to actually run the project much smoother towards the end of the timescales. I think the level of finish in this particular store is really high end, and I think that reflects the area that we're in. Obviously we're in the Mayfair area, on Piccadilly, opposite the Ritz, so it has to be right at the top of the game as far as finish is concerned. With regarding the timelines on this project, it's very similar to all our retail projects, in the fact that once the retailer has signed the actual deal, he needs to get the store open as quickly as possible to start trading. So we went to see the client at the start of June when he first brought us on board with the project, and we looked at the timeline. Obviously it was very important for us to open for the key Christmas period. So on our timeline we looked at a target date of the 23rd of November, which gave us 25 weeks basically to put the concept together, to put the works out to tender, and then run the job on site. And we actually did. We handed over on the 23rd, I think at 10 o'clock when the store started to trade. So I think we achieved the goals that the client wanted to hit. We're always ready for the next one, yes, definitely. And not sure what it's going to be yet, but very much looking forward to it.
Afternoon. How are we? I'm looking for two purchases. One is for myself for Christmas, and the other one is as a gift, something rather special.
Okay.
So what do you recommend?
These whiskies here will start at £2,000 per bottle, but you're getting something really, really rare. This one, for example, is a 1992 vintage, and it's actually taken from a port cask. So that one's £2,000. But
And where in Scotland is that made?
the Dalmore distillery is one of the most northern distilleries. It's up past Inverness,
Yes.
on your way to the very north tip of Scotland, a place called Alness.
Right. It's very nice to be able to taste the product.
Okay.
So I should enjoy doing that. Brilliant. Thank you. Just what I like. Taste it before you buy it.
Excellent.
Then you're confident. Wonderful. Well, I think it starts when you walk across the road and you see the shop from the Ritz Hotel. And then after the Ritz Hotel, you see the window. And the window has tremendous grab. You know, it's an interesting window. You look through the window and you see all those products inside. Open the door and you get lovely service. You get a Scotsman and he talks to you about whiskey and how it's made and all the prestigious elements. It's brilliant. Well, there's a lot of product to look at in the shop, a lot of product. And it's beautifully displayed and the lighting is good. So it looks sort of mouth-watering, which is always nice for the product that you're going to drink. I think another element of it is that you can see these video units which tell you about the product, where it's made, and some of the interesting things about it. Then somebody walks across with a Scottish accent and talks to you more about the product and what type of product you'd like and what sort of price point you'd like to meet. It's brilliant. I like it.
This is my first time in the Whisky Shop. I've never been into the Whisky Shop in my life, and it was recommended by a friend of mine. So I trotted off today and came in, and literally I walked in, I was like, it's Aladdin's cave. It's so pretty for a start, which sounds ridiculous, but all these incredible bottles on display. And from the moment I walked in, I had several people say, oh, hello, how are you? There wasn't, can I help you? It was just hello. There's this sort of welcoming feel to the place. And for someone like me who doesn't know very much about whiskey, it's a wonderful thing to walk into a place like this and think, oh, hang on a minute, I can come in and learn and be taught and be told about things in a way that's very welcoming and non-patronising. It's inspired me to the point where actually I'm now going to join your whiskey club. I'm sending my mother and father down here as part of their Christmas present, and I'm coming back. I'm just so impressed with the whole experience. It's very personal. which I think's lovely, because as I've discovered, whiskey is a very personal drink.
No, I've been several times. It's great. It's cost me a small fortune, mind, but it's fantastic. Staff are very helpful, lovely store, super addition to Piccadilly. Toby always helps me out, pours me a few drams and leave a little bit warmer, so it's very, very good, very happy. It's far more polished, for sure. It feels far more premium, higher end, if you will, and the service is fantastic as well. I have a couple of Islas and I have a Japanese whiskey for the first time. For me, it's about having something that's a little bit different sat in the cabinet. And my mum and dad come down from Scotland, it'll probably get its back up as well, so I like to widen them up, being a Scot, of course.
So some of the more unusual and interesting names of whiskies that we might stock here. From the lowlands of Scotland, we have the Auchentoshan. From Speyside, we've got things like Glendronach, Benriach, Balvenie, Aberlour. From the Highlands, you've got the Glenmorangie, which a lot of people seem to get wrong. A lot of people call it Glenmorangie, which I always say it's fine. You can call it Glenmorangie down here, but if you're ever in Tain and you say Glenmorangie, you might get thrown out of the place. I always say think about oranges and you'll get it right, Glenmorangie. A lot of the more unusual names will come from the island of Islay in particular. So from the island of Islay we've got Lafroig, Lagavulin, you've got the Bruichlarig, Bunnahabhain, and then you've got Ardbeg, which is a wee bit easier to pronounce, but they have the Ardbeg Ugadale and Ardbeg Corryvreckan, so not so easily to pronounce those ones. We then also have, as well as Scotch whiskies, we've got some Japanese whiskies. So we've got Hakushu, Hibiki, Yamazaki, and we've also got whiskey from Wales, which is the Pinderrin, and also from Sweden is Macmira, and then a few American whiskies, things like Sazerac, Knob Creek, and Thomas Handy, which has just recently won Whisky of the Year. Then there's a lot of sort of lesser known distilleries, things like Dalhuain, Capardonic, Tirrenich. So a lot of interesting names there for people to try and get their tongues round.
Being Scottish, it's great to have a whisky shop. It's not a cognac shop, it's not a champagne shop, it's a whisky shop.